Okay, next up we have Day 12 by Tim Wagner. And I've put on this one, I'm not always the biggest fan of objects and things becoming sentient beings, but I did enjoy this one. It was a slightly different take on the whole soul survivor fight against machine type scenario, and it made me very glad that I won't be flying for some time. So I gave Day 12 by Tim Wagner 4 out of 5. Next one was Lainey by Chris Sorensen. I've put that this was very clever and I was rooting for Lainey the entire time. There's some really good moments in this. It's the first thing that I've read by Chris, and it made me very excited to be diving into the Messy Man series, which I've got over there. So I was pleased to read a short by somebody that I've got further things to dive into. And I've put with this one, the end was perfect. I loved the ending. It was a real sense of good, excellent, and I gave that one 4 as well. Okay, next we had another new to me writer. We had Mrs. Cleaver by Kirsten Dearborn. Now I've put on this one, I really enjoyed it, even though it didn't have the ending that I wanted for the character Annabelle. That actually made it more realistic. This was a kind of domestic violence scenario, and unfortunately those kind of things are not always easy to resolve. So the ending was definitely more what probably would happen, which made it even more horrific. So that is another 4-star. Then we've got the one that gave me the heebie-jeebies, Discussions Concerning the Ingestion of Living Insects by Ronald Malfi. I don't think it's a spoiler because of the title alone to say that there are some scenes of ingesting living insects. Brrr. I'm a staunch vegetarian, but even if I wasn't, the thought of putting yeah, no thank you. So there were some full-on nauseous moments in this one which genuinely made me feel bleh. It's also it's a brilliant story. There's also some very uncomfortable moments I felt in this one, but very good, another 4-star. Next one, another new to me author, Lucas Mangum. I've put it's called The Hand of Violence, and I've actually put I really enjoyed this. I was 100% rooting for the character. I think it's pronounced Isolde, and I wasn't at all let down with the story. This one has a kind of wrong turn, the hills have eyes, deliverance kind of thing going on, and a lot of people think that that's kind of been done, but I love it. That's one of my favourite subgenres. Bring on the backwoods hillbilly type scenarios and I'll read that. I don't care if it's been done to death, I like that. So I really enjoyed it. I've put the trope may be getting old, but I still bloody love it. So there we go, and that was a solid 4 as well. Okay, next we had A Flock of Crows from Nate Kenyon. Now this one it was good, and what I will say for all of these, even if they weren't my particular cup of tea, probably because of the subject, they were all still brilliantly written. Every single piece of writing in here is top-notch. So I've put well written and a slightly different spin on the whole end of the world virus type scenario, but because this has been done again so many times, I personally tend to veer towards, if you're going to do zombie virus end of the world stuff, especially now that we're in lockdown again here in the UK, I quite like my humour, so I'm thinking, you know, like your Zombieland Double Tap and Shaun of the Dead. I prefer that than your real on the nose stuff, but this was still good. It had a slightly different take on it, which we need if we're going to have that kind of thing, which I've put, and I am Walking Deaded out. So I gave that one a 3.5. Again, it was good. It's just not my bag. And the next one actually was in a similar vein. This is Street Action by J.G. Faherty. I hope that's right. And I can't say too much about what I actually liked about this one without giving away the end. And I thought the end was brilliant. Really enjoyed the ending on this one. I've also put, and I absolutely detested, really like angry with one of the characters, and that is no mean feat with a short story when you've got so little words to play with. Being you know, having a character that you have that kind of emotion towards, it is just, again, shows how good the writing is. A unique twist on a done to death subgenre. Again, because of the whole zombie type thing, I've given that a 3.5 as well. Okay, that follows on to my personal favourite within the collection, which will be no surprise. It was the first one I read, and in my opinion it was the best one in the collection, and this is Into the Night by Hunter Shea. Now, I went into it biased, because I don't hide the fact that Hunter and Glenn are my own personal favourite writers, and I will read anything that they write, and everything that they write is beyond and above 5 stars. So, but I actually loved it, you know. It was absolutely bonkers, and I bloody loved it. It was another story that evoked a physical reaction, but unlike the heebie-jeebies or the feeling, this made me cross my legs. Yes. Woo! There were some really good moments in this one again, which you expect from it's a Hunter story. So if you like Hunter, which I hope that you do, otherwise why are you watching this channel, then you will also really like this one. It was just fun. It was just pure Hunter, and I loved it. So that's obviously a 5. Would have been a 6. But, you know, we only give 5, so. Next was, unfortunately, my personal least favourite of the collection. And again, nothing to do with the author or their style of writing or anything like that. It was just the particular subject. So this was Chrysalis by Rio Ewers. I hope, again, that's the right pronunciation. The level of writing, the skill, everything was there. It was just, it was kind of celestial, a bit religious, and there were like angels and things going on, and that's just not my bag. I just didn't gel with this particular story. Again, there was absolutely nothing wrong with it, and it could easily be somebody's favourite from the whole collection. It just wasn't mine. But that's what anthologies and collections are like. There's going to be things you love and things that you don't necessarily hate, but just don't love as much. So it wouldn't put me off anything else that Rio has written, but I would give this one 3, I'm afraid. Okay, next one was one that was different from the rest, but I loved. This is The Prince She's Forgotten by Gwendolyn Kist. And as you may expect from that title, this was almost fairy tale-esque, but in a very original, grim fairy tale kind of style. If you think of the original Little Mermaid, where she ends up killing herself and all that kind of stuff, it has that dark undertone of an original grim tale. So I've put that it was dark and full of despair. A fairy tale with witches and princes and princesses, but that dispels and challenges your perceptions of good and evil, and again has a really good ending and was well done. So I actually really enjoyed this one. And then that leads us to the final story within the collection, which was called Handle with Care by Brian Kirk. Now, Brian Kirk is another author that I have read some of his work before, so I had a kind of idea of what his short might be, but alongside the Brian Morlin one, this was completely different from anything I've read from Kirk before. His stuff tends to be very dark and heavy, and this one was, although it was still horrific, it was, I felt a bit lighter, and I really liked it. I thought it was quite fun. While still being a steady tale of horrific circumstances, it was just, again, it was quite a unique story, and I really liked it. I felt that Brian probably had a bit of fun with this one. So there we go. That is my overall opinion of each story. As I said, with any collection, people have those that they rave about, people have those that they think are kind of middle ground, and then you have ones which were just, for whatever reason, not your own favourite, because we all have parts of horror that we adore, and we all have parts which don't particularly interest us so much, or maybe we've just read so much of at the moment that we're ready to embrace something else. But I think that no matter what your bag is, no matter which type of horror you like, there will be something within here for you, and you do have that mixture of male, female voices as well, which is really good. It's a charity anthology, so whether you live in the UK, the US or anywhere else, you're supporting a very worthwhile cause. So I would say that overall, thank you very much, obviously, to Glenn for sending this to me. Thank you to everybody involved, and I would give it a solid 5 stars, 10 out of 10, all of that kind of stuff, and I would definitely recommend it. If you've got a space on your Christmas list, pop it on. If you've got a few spare pennies, consider buying it for somebody else for a present, because it is solid, and I think that there will be at least 3 or 4 of these stories that you really, really enjoy. So that is my overall 5-star review of Survive With Me from Alien Agenda Publishing. Thank you. Bye.